What if I told you the biggest difference between someone with 20% body fat and someone at 10% isn't genetics, isn't supplements, and definitely isn't luck? It's strategy. Because getting to 10% isn't about suffering or starving. It's about mastering your body like a system. And today, I'll show you exactly how to do it, step by step, without destroying your energy, your hormones, or your sanity. So grab a drink, hit that subscribe button, and let's break down how to truly reach and maintain 10% body fat. Start with honesty, because when it comes to 10% body fat, there's a lot of myth, a lot of ego, and a lot of confusion. People throw that number around like a magic badge. I'm at 10%. But what does that actually mean? Here's the truth. 10% body fat isn't a diet trend. It's a discipline level. It's the difference between understanding your body and simply guessing what 10% looks and feels like. At 20%, you probably look fine in a t-shirt. No complaints. Maybe a bit of softness around the waist. At 15%, you start to look fit. Shoulders pop, waist tightens, clothes fit better. At 10%, that's when definition takes over. You see striations in your shoulders, veins on your forearms, and abs that stay visible even when you're sitting down. But here's the twist. 10% body fat is less about vanity and more about precision. It means you've learned how your metabolism responds, how your hunger behaves, and how your sleep affects recovery. You're no longer chasing fitness, you're managing it. Most people think reaching 10% means being hungry all the time. But the real veterans will tell you, the closer you get, the calmer it feels. Because at that stage, your habits have replaced your willpower. The science behind the number. Body fat is simply stored energy. 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories of unused fuel. To drop fat, your body must consistently burn more than it stores. Day after day, week after week. Seems easy, right? But here's what complicates it. Homeostasis. Your body's main job is survival, not aesthetics. When you start burning fat, your body fights back. It slows metabolism, increases hunger hormones, ghrelin, and decreases satiety hormones, leptin. That's why crash diets backfire. They trigger your defense system. You lose weight fast, but the moment you relax, your body grabs every calorie like it's gold. To reach 10% safely, you must outsmart your biology, not fight it. That means slow, steady, calculated progress. The energy equation. Simplified. Here's a principle most people ignore. Fat loss is not punishment. It's precision engineering. You eat, energy in. You move, energy out. If in, energy out, you store the extra as fat. If out, in, your body uses stored fat to fill the gap. But that's just the surface. The real art is controlling how your body interprets that energy. Two people can eat the same 2,000 calories. One burns fat, the other doesn't. Why? Because of hormonal context, muscle mass, and metabolic adaptation. Muscle is metabolically expensive. It burns calories even when you're asleep. So the more lean muscle you carry, the easier it becomes to stay lean. That's why strength training is the secret weapon of every 10% success story. Metabolic adaptation. The hidden wall. When you first create a calorie deficit, fat drops fast. You feel motivated, but around week 4-6, everything slows. That's not failure. That's adaptation. Your body senses danger and adjusts. It burns fewer calories, holds more water, and increases hunger. This is where most people quit, right before the real change happens. If you can stay consistent through that adaptation phase, tracking, training, resting, your body eventually gives in and burns stored fat again. So when the scale stalls, remind yourself, it's not that nothing's happening, it's that everything inside is adjusting. If you think this sounds tough, wait till you hear what happens when your diet actually becomes effortless, because that's exactly what we'll cover in the next section. Why most people never see 10%. 3 reasons. Impatience. They want results in weeks instead of months. All or nothing thinking. One bad meal. Total failure mindset. Neglecting sleep and stress. Cortisol spikes. Fat storage. It's not that they can't lose fat. They can't stay consistent long enough for fat loss to show. The truth? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. Even professional athletes don't stay at 10% year-round. They periodize their leanness. You can do the same. Cut phase, get lean. Maintenance, rebuild, repeat.
Close your eyes and picture it. Waking up, looking in the mirror, and finally seeing muscle definition you didn't think you could have. That's 10%. But more importantly, imagine the mindset you'll have, the discipline, the confidence, the clarity. Every decision, from what you eat to how you sleep, starts to align with that version of you. And when that happens, fat loss stops feeling like work and starts feeling like identity. Because once you understand what 10% truly represents, you'll never approach your health the same way again. And if you think this mental shift is powerful, just wait. In the next section, we'll dive into the 70% of fat loss that happens in the kitchen, the meals, the macros, and the surprisingly simple tricks that make your body burn fat automatically. Section 2. Nutrition, the 70% rule. Step 1. Calculate your calorie target. To burn fat, you need a consistent, moderate deficit, not starvation. Your goal is to eat around 15-20% less than maintenance. That's roughly body weight, LBS, x 1416 maintenance calories. Subtract 400-600 to lose about 1 pound of fat per week. But don't just guess. Track for 2 weeks, average your intake, and adjust. This teaches you your body's math. Step 2. Protein, your muscle armor. When you're losing fat, muscle is under attack. Protein is your shield. You need 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight daily to keep muscle and boost metabolism. Story time. A study from the Journal of Nutrition showed that people who doubled their protein intake lost more fat and kept twice the muscle compared to those on low-protein diets, even with the same calories. Because protein isn't just for building, it's thermic. Your body burns up to 25% of protein's calories just digesting it, so eating more protein actually helps you burn more without doing more cardio. Step 3. The carb and fat balance. Carbs aren't your enemy. Ignorance is. Complex carbs like oats, sweet potatoes, rice, and veggies give you steady energy. Fats like avocado, olive oil, and nuts stabilize hormones like testosterone, critical for fat burning. Ideal macro ratio: 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fats. But remember, macros are tools, not rules. If you feel better slightly lower carb or higher fat, adjust. A 16.8 fasting window, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating, helps control calories naturally. It improves insulin sensitivity and keeps hunger stable. But it's not mandatory. It's just structure for people who struggle with snacking. Step 5. Hydration. Every metabolic reaction in your body needs water. Aim for 3 to 4 liters daily. Even a 2% drop in hydration can lower fat burning efficiency by 20%. So before you think your metabolism is slow, check your water intake. Section 3. Training, sculpting the 10% physique. Most people trying to get to 10% body fat make one major mistake. They treat training like punishment for eating, instead of a signal for the body they want to build. Your workouts aren't just about burning calories, they're about shaping your metabolism, because the way you train determines whether you'll end up smaller and flat or lean and muscular. So let's break down exactly how to train smart, not just hard, to carve a body that looks powerful, athletic, and sharp even at low body fat. Step 1. Strength training comes first. If nutrition is the fuel, training is the code that tells your body what to do with it. You want your body to burn fat while preserving every ounce of muscle. The way to make that happen? Resistance training. When you lift, you send a message to your body. Hey, we need this muscle. Don't burn it. Use fat instead. That's the essence of muscle preservation mode. Focus on compound lifts, movements that work multiple muscles at once. Squats, deadlifts, bench, press, pull-ups, rows overhead, press. These exercises give the biggest hormonal payoff. They trigger testosterone and growth hormone spikes that make fat loss more efficient. But here's where many people go wrong. They lift like power lifters when cutting. The goal here isn't breaking records. It's maintaining strength while improving muscular endurance and density. Smart strategy. Train in the 6 to 12 rep range. Enough load for muscle retention. Enough volume for metabolic stress. Rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets. Not too short, not too long. Think of this phase as a body recomposition camp. You're teaching your body to keep the muscle it has while revealing what's underneath. Training. Frequency and split. To keep muscle stimulated and metabolism high, hit every muscle group at least twice per week. Example split. Mon, upper, push focus. 2, lower, legs plus core. Wed, rest or cardio. Thu, upper, pull focus. Fry, lower plus abs. Sat, active recovery. Walks, swimming, mobility. Sun, full rest. This frequency maintains a steady muscle protein synthesis rhythm. You're constantly reminding your body, keep this tissue. Pro tip, even at a calorie deficit, use your warm-ups to progressively load. It keeps strength levels up and prevents your nervous system from forgetting heavy weight patterns. Step 2, cardio. The accelerator, not the engine now. Let's talk cardio. The most misunderstood tool in fitness. Cardio doesn't burn fat by magic. It creates additional energy demand, forcing your body to dip into stored fat for fuel. But here's the catch. Too much cardio, and you start burning muscle along with fat. Too little, and fat loss crawls. The key? Balance. Use a combination of HIIT, high-intensity interval training, 15-20 minutes twice a week, sprint intervals, jump ropes, or circuits that push you near your max heart rate. This triggers EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Your metabolism stays elevated for hours after training. LISS, low-intensity steady state. 30 to 45 minutes of brisk walking or incline treadmill 2-3 times a week. This burns fat efficiently without spiking cortisol. Fun fact, studies show a brisk 45-minute walk after dinner can boost overnight fat oxidation by up to 30%. So if you're ever tired or unmotivated, remember, you don't have to crush every session. Sometimes the simplest movement, like walking after a meal, can do wonders. Step 3, progressive overload. Even while cutting. Most people think I'm dieting so I can't progress. Wrong. Even in a deficit you can progress, just in smaller, smarter ways. You can. Add 1-2 reps per set. Improve your range of motion. Cut rest time slightly. Maintain form with heavier weights. Your muscles don't recognize calories. They recognize resistance and tension. Imagine your body as a software system. Each rep is a signal that updates your code. Keep muscle. Get stronger. If those signals stop, your body deletes muscle to save energy. That's why progressive overload during a cut isn't about ego. It's about communication. Step 4, recovery. The silent sculptor. Training tears muscle fibers. Recovery repairs them. Stronger, tighter, and leaner. When you sleep less than 6 hours, testosterone drops, cortisol spikes, and muscle recovery slows dramatically. You wake up hungrier and more fatigued, leading to poor workouts and extra snacking. So recovery isn't optional. It's where the magic happens. Here's what to master. Sleep 7-9 hours nightly. Stretch or foam roll after training to reduce inflammation. Deload every 5 to 6 weeks. Take 3 to 4 lighter days to reset your joints and central nervous system. Hydrate deeply. Dehydration makes your body misread fatigue as hunger. Think of it like this. Training breaks you down, recovery builds you up. Skip either, and your results stall. Step 5, the mind-muscle connection. At 10% body fat, it's not about lifting heavier, it's about lifting better, slowing down reps, controlling tension, and feeling each contraction connects your mind to your muscle. Arnold Schwarzenegger famously said, "The mind is the limit. As long as the mind can envision the fact that you can do something, you can do it." And he was right. When you focus on the muscle instead of the mirror, results multiply. Spend the next few weeks training with intention, not just movement. Every rep should mean something. Bonus: the illusion of leanness. Here's something fascinating. You don't have to lose as much fat as you think to look leaner. If you train properly, building slight muscle in your shoulders, chest, and back creates visual contrast that amplifies leanness. It's called the illusion effect, and it's why two people with the same body fat can look drastically different. So don't chase the scale. Chase shape, density, and posture. At this point, you've learned how to train your body to preserve muscle and torch fat. But here's the reality. No matter how hard you train, if your mind isn't aligned, the results will fade. Because the real battle for 10% body fat doesn't just happen in the gym. It happens in your thoughts, your habits, and your daily decisions. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. The mindset that separates those who reach 10% from those who only dream about it. Section 4. Mindset. The hidden key. If there's one truth about getting to 10% body fat, it's this: your body will never go where your mind doesn't believe it can. The difference between people who try and those who transform isn't genetics, it's mindset. When you hit your first plateau, when the scale doesn't move for 2 weeks, or when you wake up sore and tired, that's when the mind starts whispering, "Why am I doing this?" But here's the secret. Every time you push through that voice, your discipline muscle grows. Reframing struggle as signal. Most people interpret struggle as failure, but for those who make it to 10%, struggle is feedback. It's your body saying, "I'm adapting." That's the moment when fat cells shrink, when metabolism recalibrates, when your hormones are fighting for balance. So instead of saying, "This is hard," start saying, "This is working." The emotional roller coaster. At some point, you'll feel like you're doing everything right, but seeing nothing. That's normal. Fat loss isn't linear. It's a wave. Your body doesn't drop a consistent pound each week. It holds, then releases. That's why tracking only your weight is misleading. Use photos, measurements, and how your clothes fit as your true progress metrics. Identity over motivation. Here's a mindset hack that can change everything. Stop trying to get lean. Start becoming the kind of person who stays lean. Motivation fades. Identity sticks. When you shift from "I'm trying to get to 10% to "I'm someone who takes care of his body every day," you stop negotiating with yourself. Remember this line: discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. If you make that choice daily, 10% becomes inevitable. Mindset transition. Now that you've strengthened your mental foundation, it's time to bring that patience into reality. Because knowing your why is only half the story. You also need to understand how long it really takes. That's exactly what we'll uncover in the next section: your fat loss timeline, and how to stay consistent when progress slows. Section 5, the timeline and realistic expectations. Let's talk about something everyone underestimates: time. You didn't gain fat overnight, and you won't lose it overnight either. The journey to 10% body fat is a game of patience, precision, and persistence. The realistic breakdown. If you're currently 25% body fat, expect 16-20 weeks 20%, 10-12 weeks 15%, 6 to 8 weeks. These numbers assume you're consistent, not perfect. You'll have off days, social meals, maybe even weeks where progress slows. That's okay. Remember, fat loss isn't a deadline, it's a direction. The adaptation curve. At first, weight melts off. Your body's glycogen stores drop, water leaves, and the scale moves fast. Then around week 4 to 6, progress slows. This is where 90% of people quit. But those who persist, they hit a new level of efficiency. Their metabolism stabilizes, cravings drop, sleep improves, and fat loss becomes effortless. You're no longer dieting, you're living lean. Refeeds and diet breaks. Every 3 to 4 weeks, add a refeed day, a controlled bump in carbs and calories, around $400–600 above deficit. This restores leptin levels, gives your metabolism a nudge, and mentally resets you. If you've been in a long deficit, 12 plus weeks, take a 1-week maintenance phase. It's not regression, it's recovery. Think of it as catching your breath before the next sprint. So now you know how long it takes. But what about what you need? Let's separate fact from fiction and talk about supplements, the tools that can support your journey, if used smartly.
Section 6. Supplements. Supplements are like power tools, useful if you know what you're doing, dangerous if you rely on them. No supplement will replace good sleep, clean nutrition, and consistent training, but a few can amplify your effort. Protein powder. If you're struggling to hit your daily protein target, this is your best friend. Whey isolate or plant-based blends keep you full, support muscle repair, and make hitting macros easy. Pro tip: have a shake post-workout and one before bed if your protein is low. Casein protein is especially good overnight because it digests slowly. Creatine monohydrate is the most researched supplement on Earth. It helps maintain strength in a calorie deficit, keeps your muscles fuller, and supports recovery. Take 5G daily, any time of day. No need to cycle. Caffeine isn't just for focus. It's a proven fat loss enhancer. It increases adrenaline and frees fatty acids for energy use. Use it wisely. 150–250 ml pre-workout is plenty. Avoid late-day caffeine so it doesn't ruin your sleep, because no supplement can undo poor recovery. Omega-3 and vitamin D. These are your hormone helpers. They reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and stabilize mood, all crucial for staying consistent. Other worthwhile additions: magnesium. Glycinate supports muscle relaxation and sleep. Electrolytes maintain hydration during longer workouts or fasts. Green tea extract, mild metabolism support, and antioxidant boost.
But again, supplements fill gaps, not goals. You now have the tools, the plan, and the mindset. But there's one final step, the blueprint that ties everything together and keeps you on track long after the motivation fades. Let's wrap this up with the ultimate formula, and one powerful challenge that will transform not just your body but your identity.
Section 7. The final formula. Let's recap the 4 commandments of reaching 10% body fat. The simple truths that separate those who dream from those who do. Eat in a moderate deficit, not starvation. Starving burns muscle. Structure burns fat. Prioritize protein and strength training, because muscle is your metabolic engine. Sleep like it's your job. Recovery isn't rest, it's construction time. Stay consistent long enough for it to work. Fat loss is a delayed reward game. Patience always wins. Your journey to 10% isn't about perfection. It's about mastering the basics so deeply that they become automatic. Once that happens, your results no longer depend on motivation. They depend on momentum.
Final motivation. You already have everything you need to reach 10%. Your genetics aren't the obstacle. Your consistency is the opportunity. Every choice, every workout, every good night of sleep is a vote for the body you're building. So stay patient, stay calculated, and most of all, stay curious. Because fitness isn't a finish line. It's a lifetime of learning how your body responds, evolves, and thrives. And if you're serious about shaping that lean, powerful upper body to match your new physique, don't stop here. Your next step is right here.
Watch my next video. 3 best exercises to blow up your chest in 2025, backed by science. In that video, we'll break down the most effective, research-backed chest movements that transform your upper body faster than anything else. No fluff, no gym myths, just real results. So if you're ready to build muscle that matches your new lean physique, click that next video and keep growing with the Wonder Drop.